Whether you love it or hate it, it's hard to deny that reality TV has changed what it means to be a celebrity over the last 2 decades. Ordinary people can be plucked out of obscurity and turned into a global star overnight. And a lot of the time, you don't even need to have real talent. In 2002, the 3rd season of the UK version of Big Brother was attracting audience numbers of almost 6 million. By now, it was well understood that appearing on a reality show was a fast track to fame and fortune. So when a mysterious casting call for the next revolutionary show began popping up in the UK that year, hopeful individuals jumped at the opportunity. They were told to quit their jobs and cut any ties at home for an entire year of adventuring and filming. The enigmatic producer Nik Russian promised a prize of £100,000 for the winner, but the contestants had no idea what the challenge was. In 2002, a mysterious ad appeared across British newspapers, websites, and college notice boards. 1 year, £100,000, it read. New reality TV show seeks contestants. Over 1,000 hopeful contestants downloaded and filled out the application form. They corresponded via email with Doug Travers and Amy Dixon, who were team leaders from Nik Russian Productions, or NRP. Details about this new reality TV show were kept secret, but Doug and Amy described it as an ambitious, year-long project, during which contestants would embark on missions. They also made reference to international travel, so passports would need to be up to date. Auditions were held at the Ravens 8 Island, an upscale venue in London. Hundreds of excited auditionees boarded private ferries and were greeted by a large production crew, all dressed in black. A cameraman was there to capture every interaction as drinks and canapes were served. Among the group of contestants were university students, care workers, designers, actors, athletes, bankers. The only thing they all had in common was that they wanted to get on TV. Doug Travers and Amy Dixon were absent on the day, but the contestants did meet the show's producer, Nik Russian. Nik told the contestants about what he called Project MS2, which had been commissioned by the free-to-air network, Channel 4. They would select 30 people, split into 3 teams, to take part in his revolutionary new reality TV concept, and potentially win £100,000 and become celebrities. Richard Branson, the billionaire founder of Virgin, was just one of the many major sponsors of the show. Marketing experts and a psychologist assessed the contestants over a long day of physical and psychological tests. A few weeks later, the 30 successful contestants were notified via email. Because the show would be filming for an entire year, Nik Russian instructed the contestants to quit their jobs, leave their homes, and essentially put a hold on their lives. A dense contract was sent out, which stated that food, accommodation, travel, and spending money would all be provided. The contract also stipulated on-camera behavior and what to wear. Contestants began preparing for their year-long adventure. Some spent hundreds of pounds preparing and even sold off cars and furniture. Some ended relationships, many quit their jobs and left their homes. Big farewell parties were thrown, as the 30 contestants were filled with hopes of life-changing adventure and returning home rich and famous. Filming for Project MS2 began on Monday, 10th of June, 2002. The contestants gathered at their meeting spot in London, backpacks and suitcases in tow. Nik Russian was nowhere to be seen, and he wasn't answering his phone. The contestants had been instructed not to bring any money, so they could not even wait at a cafe. Many hours later, Nik finally showed up looking disheveled. His jeans were dirty and his air of confidence was gone. He divided the group into 3 teams and handed out another contract for everyone to sign, and at long last, revealed the details of the show's concept. Each team of 10 would spend the year working together to earn £1 million in any way they could. They would deposit all their earnings into one of 3 new bank accounts that only Nik had access to. The first team to raise £1 million would have their earnings divided by 10 and distributed among the team. In other words, there was no $100,000 prize money. The contestants would be spending the year earning the money. Each team included their own unpaid trainee cameraman who could also participate in earning money. As the revelation sank in, Nik presented the first challenge. Each team would now need to go find their own food and accommodation, contrary to what their contracts had promised. Each team was also short a couple of contestants, so they would need to recruit people to complete the cast. It started to dawn on the contestants that they had been scammed.
You are kidding me. You are absolutely kidding me. How the hell are we going to do that?
Nik Russian told the teams to separate and not contact each other before wishing them good luck and disappearing. Teams 1 and 2 disbanded almost immediately. Some were able to go home to their parents, but several people had given up their housing and had no home to go back to. Some people delayed returning home due to the embarrassment of getting tricked by a dodgy reality TV show. Team 2 decided to make the most of it and actually attempted to do the challenge. Their cameraman/teammate Tim Eagle still had access to his nearby East London apartment, and the group sought shelter there. Most of them had to sleep on the floor, but being crammed into the small space bonded the team, and they decided to proceed with filming everything. They even set up a diary room inspired by Big Brother. A couple of days later, Nik Russian turned up at Tim Eagle's front door. He wasn't there to provide further information about the challenge or assure the contestants about the legitimacy of the show. It turned out he also left his home and now needed a place to crash. Team 2 demanded answers. As many of them had suspected, there was no financial backing. Channel 4 had not commissioned the show, and there was no real production team. Nik tried to play the sympathy card, saying that producing and selling the show was his dream and his last hope at making something of his life. Team 2 responded by locking Nik in the apartment and contacting the local news. They forced Nik to speak with a reporter from ITV's London Tonight program, which ran a segment about the debacle. Contestants from Team 2 now had a small taste of what it was like to be famous after some of them were recognised by members of the public who saw their news story, so they decided to keep going with filming themselves. But 2 days later, after the short-lived buzz of holding Nik accountable and being filmed by a real TV news crew, Team 2 disbanded. Nik Russian had gone into hiding. Project MS2 was officially dead. Debbie Driver was one of the 30 hopeful contestants who fell for Nik Russian's scam. After the ordeal, she contacted an independent documentary production company called Christmas TV and told them about the story. Over the next few months, the Christmas TV production team searched for Nik Russian. He was finally tracked down at an apartment in Richmond, an affluent town in southwest London. Daniel Pope, a Team 2 member, was there with the real documentary crew to confront Nik. Nikita Russian was born as Keith Anthony Gillard in Surrey in 1977. He was raised in Farnham and changed his name to Jack Lister in his early 20s, and then again to Nikita Russian. He studied English at the Goldsmiths College at the University of London, but dropped out before the exam started. In 2002, when he masterminded his reality TV project, Nik was working on the floor at his local Waterstones, which is a chain of British bookstores. The 25-year-old had tried to start multiple businesses over the years and had written 7 unpublished novels. It was revealed that he had pushed back the filming date of his reality TV show so he could work on the public holiday for the extra pay. So how exactly did Nik manage to orchestrate the reality TV hoax? Firstly, Doug Travers and Amy Dixon, the team leaders at NRP, didn't exist. Nik never paid for the Ravens 8 venue, where the auditions were held. He told the management that they would receive plenty of exposure from the TV show. The production crew at the audition were all college students. The psychologist who assessed each potential contestant was actually just Nik's girlfriend. She did not have any relevant qualifications. A hotline had been set up that the contestants could ring in with any queries. It was run by Nik's mum, Margaret. All of the emails and paperwork that had been distributed had NRP branding, and Nik was highly convincing in the way he spoke about casting, marketing, pilots, and sponsorships. One of the young women at the audition had also tried out for Big Brother and confirmed that it was a similar process, so nobody had any reason to doubt the legitimacy of the project. But in actuality, Nik had 0 television experience. Daniel Pope and the Christmas TV documentary crew conducted a 2-day stakeout at a southwest London tube station. They knocked on Nik's front door and gave him a chance to explain himself. Nik muttered a vague apology but remained belligerent about the whole situation and refused an interview. The contestants had already gone to the police about the matter, but Nik hadn't actually taken anyone's money. There was no criminal charge. A civil case was considered but ultimately was not pursued due to lack of funds. Christmas TV made the documentary about the hoax, and ironically, it ended up airing on Channel 4. The contestants did eventually see themselves on TV, just not the way they had planned. During our research for this video, we were unable to track down the full documentary, and there is also very little information online about what Nik Russian is up to these days. If anyone watching this knows about what happened to Nik, please leave a comment and update us. Early access to videos, discussions, polls, and behind the scenes blog posts are all on our Patreon. See you in the next video.